What if I told you that Africa is slowly changing shape? Not in theory, not in the distant past, but right now. It sounds dramatic, almost unbelievable. But in parts of East Africa, the ground itself is shifting, cracking, stretching. And for many people who saw the images, it raised one question: is Africa actually splitting apart? To understand what's happening, we need to step back, way back. Millions of years ago, the earth looked completely different. The continents we know today, Africa, Asia, Europe, the Americas, were not separate. They were joined together as one massive landmass, a supercontinent. Over time, that supercontinent began to break apart, slowly, silently, relentlessly. And as it separated, the continents drifted into the positions we recognize today. Now here's what's fascinating. That process never stopped. The earth is not fixed. It is not stable. It is constantly moving. Beneath the surface, the ground we stand on is divided into enormous sections called tectonic plates. These plates are not still. They are always in motion. Sometimes they slide past each other. Sometimes they collide. And sometimes they pull apart. And when they pull apart, the land stretches. At first, the changes are invisible. Tiny movements, small shifts. But over time, those small movements become cracks, then valleys, then entire geological systems. And this brings us to East Africa, because East Africa sits on one of the most active geological zones in the world. It's called the East African Rift System, a massive structure stretching over 3,000 kilometers, from the Red Sea in the north down toward Mozambique in the south. And along this rift, something extraordinary is happening. The African continent is slowly splitting into two. On one side, the Nubian plate, on the other, the Somali plate, and between them, a growing separation. Now here's where things became visible. A massive crack appeared in Kenya's Rift Valley, stretching across land, breaking roads, disrupting daily life. To many people, it felt sudden, even frightening, but scientists saw it differently, because that crack was not the beginning. It was a signal, a visible moment, in a process that has been unfolding for millions of years. In fact, cracks like these don't just appear overnight. They are the result of pressure building up deep beneath the Earth's surface. As the plates slowly move apart, the crust becomes thinner, weaker, until eventually it fractures. Now, some scientists believe that heavy rainfall in the region may have helped expose the crack, making it appear more dramatic, more sudden than it actually was. But the underlying process was already happening, and it has been happening for a very long time. Now let's talk about what's driving this. Deep beneath East Africa, there is something called a mantle plume. Think of it like a massive column of hot material rising from deep within the earth. As this heat rises, it weakens the crust above it. It pushes the land upward, stretches it, and eventually causes it to break. This is what creates rift valleys. And East Africa is one of the clearest places on earth where we can observe this process. Now here's the big question. What does this mean for the future? If this process continues, and all evidence suggests it will, then over millions of years, something remarkable could happen. A new ocean could form. Water could gradually fill the space between the separating plates, turning what is now land into sea, and eventually, East Africa could become a separate landmass, an island. Countries like Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Somalia could one day sit on this new island, surrounded by water. Now pause for a moment, because this sounds like something out of a movie, but it's not fiction. It's geology, and it has happened before. Around 100 to 130 million years ago, Africa and South America were connected. Today, they are separated by the Atlantic Ocean. What we are seeing in East Africa today is a similar process at a much earlier stage. Now here's the important part. This is not happening quickly, not even close. The plates are moving apart at a rate of just a few centimeters per year. That's slower than the growth of your fingernails. So no, this is not something that will affect our lifetime or even the next 1,000 generations. Scientists estimate that it could take tens of millions of years for a new ocean to fully form. So while the images of cracks may look dramatic, the timeline is incredibly long. But that doesn't make it any less important, because what we are witnessing is something very rare. We are watching a continent in the early stages of transformation. And that gives us insight into how the earth evolves, how continents form, how oceans are created. Now let's look at the bigger picture. This is not just about Africa. This is about the planet as a whole, because the same forces shaping East Africa today have shaped every continent on Earth. They have created mountains, oceans, valleys. They have shaped the world we live in, and they continue to shape it every single day, often silently, often unnoticed, but always moving. So when we see something like a crack in the ground, it's easy to react with fear, but in reality, it is a reminder that the Earth is alive, dynamic, and constantly evolving. Now here's the final thought. Change on this scale doesn't happen suddenly. It happens gradually, over time, and most of the time we don't even notice it. But every now and then, we get a glimpse, a moment, where the invisible becomes visible. And that's exactly what this is, not the end of the world, but a window into how the world works. If this changed the way you see Africa, take a moment to like this video so more people can discover it. Subscribe to Voice of Africa for powerful, clear, and insightful stories about the continent. And tell me in the comments, did you ever imagine Africa could one day split apart?